Once you have both corners assembled, our next step is going to be to attach the two sets of corners to make your walls. You will want to make sure you have your corner form back out so that as you are making final adjustments, you can ensure that the walls are square, meaning this part, the angle in here is square, where it's a 90-degree angle. Now, depending on how you try to put this together, it could turn into a rectangle. So right now that looks more rectangular. If I take this piece and scoot it this way, now I have a cube or more of a box form. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to, now that I know the arrangement, pull that out just a bit, and I'm going to need to score the clay. So knowing that it's going to be attached here and here, I'm going to be scratching this end or scoring this end, adding slip, and I'm also going to be scratching this end. Usually you don't scratch the inside of the walls because you might end up scratching too far in, and then it would be visible once you put your corners together. Now I'm applying the slip. Again, be pretty generous with that, and then we can get these attached. So we're gonna scoot those together. Again, get that corner form out to help you make sure these are square. And once you're happy with how the walls, and I'm pushing the walls into the corner form. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to attach the same way that we did these corners. I have little tiny coils. I'm going to press those in there, take the excess and just tear that off. Okay, and then these are just going to get smoothed out. It's a little bit harder here, so because you can't reach as easily, so take your time with this step and try to be as neat as possible. Soft coils, really soft clay does help quite a bit to getting these to be smooth. Final step is going to be to get the walls attached to my base. So again, the walls are going to be sitting on top because the base was cut a ½ inch bigger to accommodate the thickness of the walls. You're going to look at your box and figure out which side is a little bit maybe not as neat. So this edge is a little bit messier. I'm going to be scoring and then adding slip to this side. looking at your base, you want to figure out which corner would be the best to sit this in. So I'm thinking this corner looks to be the neatest, so that's where I'm going to start. And the walls still have a little wiggle here. That's actually a good thing because you can still make adjustments if you need to. Your box should not be too dry to make these little movements when you're constructing. If it does get too dry, you need to rehydrate before you move on. All right, so now here's what's happening. There's a little bit extra on these sides, and that is to be expected because when you're rolling your clay through the slab roller, it's not exactly a 1/4 inch thick as far as the slabs, and you could end up stretching the clay out a little bit as you're handling it. So what I'm going to be doing is taking my fettling knife, I'm going to be pressing down, okay, and dragging that knife out, cutting so that I'm not cutting in, I'm cutting straight down. So this is going to end up blending in with the wall because the idea is you do not want to be able to see where the wall ends and the base begins, or really where the joints are. They should be invisible. That's your goal. Alrighty, now we got to get this joined together. You can take your modeling tool again, the flat edge, and very gently drag that clay up. You're basically welding these pieces together. So that's the term that you'd be using when you're building like this. Finishing steps. It's bound to be a little bit messy. We're going to need to clean some things up. Also on the inside, I need to get the bottom of the walls joined more securely to the base. So I'm going to take the rounded end of the modeling tool and I'm just going to run it along the bottom. Tilt that so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just dragging it across. Fluid motion here. You're not scratching or over blending. Then cleaning up your corners, we have these flat ribs you can scrape. So I'm dragging that along the edge, trying to get those corners nice and sharp. And then while I'm doing that, any bumps or nicks that occurred along the way, I'm getting rid of those. Long pulls, I'm pulling this either vertically or horizontally. You're not doing little scratches. You don't want to do little movements here. You'll probably end up making it look worse in the end. So be deliberate with how you're smoothing. And as I'm smoothing this out too, I'm looking at directly from above, so my line of sight is in line with the walls. For the top, you can again do some smoothing here. You could use a rasp if you needed to. Okay, just try to perfect this, get it as neat as possible, and then, you know, once we're all said and done, again, this is your goal for your end product. You should have 90-degree corners. The interior, you're going to have a little rounding because of the coils that you added, but it shouldn't be severe. It should be just a little bit of extra clay added there. The corners should be sharp, nice and clean, smooth. The rim should be level, so again, you could use the rasp if you needed to level things out day 2 or 3, and sponge as well. All right, good luck, guys.